British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, I'm Emily Deneen, and here's your news update to 10. Police in Langley say one person has died in an early morning crash between a car and a motorcycle on Highway 1. Mounties say the initial investigation shows the collision happened before 4:20 a.m. on the highway. The motorcycle rider died from their injuries. Our producer Ryan Sheridan has more.
Thank you. Lanes will remain closed on 232nd Street to 264th Street in Langley until further notice. Police are asking that anyone with dashcam information to please come forward. And in other news, it is National Consent Week. We have a reporter talking to the Children of the Streets organization about the initiatives they are taking to educate youth on consent. We also have a reporter talking to the Mediated Reality to talk how they talk to schools about phone safety. She'll be talking about the recent phone ban in Vancouver schools. And stay tuned for the Record episode. We'll have a reporter talking to an advocate and disability rights activist about the difficulties living on Canada's Disability Fund. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Ryan. Julio Montaneres, the executive director of the BC Centre of Excellence, says his wish was answered when drug inhalation rooms are now complete at the Vancouver Safe Injection Site and clients will have access in a few weeks. The negative pressure rooms allow fresh air to circulate and clear the air in 30 to 60 seconds, and the occupants are constantly monitored by nurses. Almost 2/3 of overdoses in BC came from smoking illicit drugs, yet only 40% of sites offer a safe place to smoke. And when smoking is offered, it is normally outside in a tent. After Premier David Eby's plan to open an involuntary care site for people with severe addictions, brain injuries, and mental illnesses, many are urging a shutdown. A statement from the Canadian Civil Liberties Association says to force anyone to get health care against their will is unconstitutional. The group also says that this involuntary care would raise concerns about targeting marginalized communities such as those living in poverty. Eby has yet to respond to this statement, and he is still saying that if he gets re-elected, he will open these facilities. Police in New Westminster say officers might have uncovered an identity fraud operation on an unrelated call. Police say officers were called to a residence on September 11th when they discovered items that could be linked to identity fraud. Officers came back with a warrant and found more than 8,000 pieces of stolen mail, 1,500 stolen bank cards, and 50 passports. They also found a firearm with ammunition. Police are working to return the documents to their owners while charges are pending. A Métis elder says Canadian physicians' formal apology for harm caused to First Peoples is a first step in a long journey to reconciliation. Jimmy DeRoche says that so many First Peoples were harmed by health professionals that it's a difficult topic to bring up in the community. The Canadian Medical Association, or CMA, apologized formally for physicians' roles in upholding racism, neglect, and abuse to First Peoples. Association President Dr. Joss Reimer says physicians are ashamed for failing to live up to ethical standards. The CMA says they are committed to addressing systemic racism moving forward. The 14-year-old girl who was accused of setting a fellow student on fire in Saskatoon is facing another charge. A court spokesperson says she has been charged with unlawfully causing bodily harm. The girl has already been charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and arson. The family of the girl who was set on fire says she has a long recovery but lots of support from her friends and family. The alleged attack took place on September 5th at Evan Hardy Collegiate. A new poll by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research finds voters view Kamala Harris more favorable than they did in July. Pop singer Chappell Roan says in an interview that she hopes she doesn't win a Grammy. She says that if she doesn't win, hopefully people will get off her back. It's currently 14 degrees out there with mostly clouds in the sky, and it'll get up to 18 degrees with a low of 10 overnight. That's been your news update to 10. Emily Deneen, BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning. I'm Spencer Pomeroy, and this is your 1010 Sports Update. It's officially hockey season in Vancouver, as the Canucks open their training camp today in Penticton. The Canucks will begin without goaltender Thatcher Demko as he makes his way back from injury. Canucks general manager Patrick Allvin said yesterday Demko is pushing for a return.
I think Talk said here a couple of days ago that he was making progress. He's been working extremely hard, and he seems to be in a great mindset.
Thatcher Demko is set to give an update on his status later today. And after falling short last season in the second round, the Canucks made some big moves this offseason, which included the signing of former Boston Bruin forward Jake DeBrusk to a 7-year deal. Canucks head coach and reigning Jack Adams Award winner Rick Tocchet spoke yesterday and says the team needs to work harder to take the next step.
To get to the next plateau, the higher expectations, and it's going to be hard. We know that, so that's the next level. Starts day one tomorrow. It's my things. Don't waste a rep out there. Let's make sure that we make each other accountable like we did last year.
The Canucks' first preseason game will be Tuesday at home against the Seattle Kraken. Some Whitecaps action last night. The team was in Houston to face the Dynamo. Whitecaps forward Brian White made his return to the lineup after being out with a concussion. After the Dynamo converted a penalty late in the first half, Brian White tied the game in the 73rd minute.
You can't replace him. More on that in a moment, but Pico to Brian White, and Brian White is back, and he has made his presence felt.
The match ended in a 1-1 draw. The Whitecaps still sit in 6th in the Western Conference and have a quick turnaround as they head to LA Saturday to face the Galaxy. In the MLB, it's the final push for postseason spots. The Milwaukee Brewers became the first team to clinch a playoff berth and the NL Central title after the Cubs lost to Oakland earlier yesterday. The Philadelphia Phillies were looking to secure a playoff spot too, but Brewers' Jake Bauers spoiled the party with a walk-off RBI single in the 9th for a 2-1 victory. Brewers shortstop Willie Adames says the team is destined for more.
Everybody was doubting us in the beginning that we were not going to be able to do this, and we proved them wrong. Hopefully we can go all the way in and win it all. The team we have this year is special. A lot of talent, a lot of young guys that are hungry to win.
In Seattle, the New York Yankees were looking to become the second team to clinch a playoff spot as they headed to extras with the Mariners tied at 1.
Runner at second base with Rizzo at the plate. He lines that one. Base hit down the right field line. That'll score a run. Rizzo's going for 2. It's an RBI double, and the Yankees take the lead.
After missing out on the playoffs last season, the Yankees clinched a berth with a 2-1 victory. The Yankees currently lead the AL East by 5 games with 10 to go. And an update in the wildcard standings after last night. In the American League wildcard, the Orioles are 4 games up, Royals a game and a half, and the Twins a half game up on the Tigers for the final spot. And in the National League, the San Diego Padres sit 2.5 games up, the Diamondbacks and Mets tied for the final spots with the Braves sitting 2 games back. Some Golden Jacket news. The NFL announced its group of first-time nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025, led by a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Gethin Coolbaugh from the Associated Press has more.
2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning, former Defensive Players of the Year Luke Kuechly and Terrell Suggs, and postseason kicking hero Adam Vinatieri are among the first-time nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2025. The Hall announced 167 modern-era candidates. Other first-time candidates are running back Marshawn Lynch and Darren Sproles, late wide receiver Demaryius Thomas, tight ends Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker, offensive linemen Joe Staley, Ryan Khalil, and Travis Frederick, and defensive backs Earl Thomas, Aqib Talib, and Antoine Bethea. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And tonight on the gridiron, Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets face off against the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football from MetLife Stadium. Kickoff is set for 5:15. That has been your 1010 Sports Update. I'm Spencer Pomeroy, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the lower mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.